Hi, it's Eleanor, and in this podcast episode, I am taking you behind the scenes of my working life and sharing a half-year in review podcast where I walk you through the core things I have accomplished, the core results I've produced in the first half of 2021 from a business perspective. Let's dive in. So here's the question. In a world where the rules of business have been written by men, how do women entrepreneurs like us, women who want to make millions of dollars and impact millions of lives, how do we create enormous success on our terms? That's the question, and this show explores the answers. Welcome to Power Presence Position. I'm your host, Eleanor Beaton, and I'm on a mission to double the number of women entrepreneurs who generate over $1 million per year in annual revenue. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, author, and leadership coach. I'm a wife, mom of 2 boys, and I'm the CEO of a 7-figure business. Stick around because on this show, you'll learn how to think, communicate, and get paid like a 7-figure CEO. Let's go. Hello. I hope you are having an amazing summer. It's August as I am recording this. And, when I came into 2021, I committed that I would maintain a state of quote unquote relaxed confidence for the duration of 2021. So that was the anchor state from which I wanted to live and lead and grow and produce from. And I'm happy to report that I have largely maintained that state. I put a lot of focus and energy into remaining in a state of relaxed confidence. I find that's the most powerful and prolific state from which to live and produce and relax and enjoy. So I've been doing that. And August, it's so interesting. After 7 months, now 8 months of producing from this place, it's become a little bit sort of second nature. And it's fascinating. I was speaking with Denise from our team this morning, and we were kind of talking through some projects that we're working on. And we're sort of marveling at the rate of production and just how kind of calm everything is. So that was pretty awesome. So listen, I love when people that I respect share details of their year in review. And usually we see that around December as the year is coming to a close, but I love them so much. And I actually gain a huge amount of value, just from learning what people are working on, what worked for them, what didn't work. So I decided to do a half year in review. And there'll be a little bit of commentary, but really what I'm doing is sharing what I've been working on in the hopes that it's useful to you, that it, maybe inspires you to take action on certain things that you've been putting off, or maybe inspires you to kind of whittle down the things that you've been working on. Who knows? But I thought I would share this with you with the hopes that it would provide value. Now, I wanted to share, I generally don't think about managing time. I really think about prioritizing. So when it comes to how I use my time, I think less about how I manage my time and more about there's more focus put on making sure the places that I do spend my time drive maximum results. And in order to do that, I spend a lot of time thinking about the tasks or projects or activities that I do that drive the most results for the business. And I've really identified what that looks like. And I put together a report. It's called the 10K Hour Super High Value Task List. And this gives you an overall listing of the tasks in your business that you as CEO can work on that are going to drive the most value for your business. I give you the task, I give you specific details, and then additional resources. So if you want that, you can go to the10khour.com. So it's the word the number 10, the letter K, the word hour.com. The10khour.com. Go there and you can sign up to get that task list. It's excellent. It's a 5-page report, and it's really going to help you make better use of your time by focusing on super high value tasks. So let's talk about what I did in the first half of 2021. And while I'm talking, basically just listing out what I worked on, pretty much everything here relates to the business, but I will start with one big personal update. I've talked about it on this podcast before. We bought a beautiful home and moved to a new town. And that's been amazing and life-changing and fun in so many ways, and so happy to be here. And so that's just kind of a personal update. I think you know that because I've talked about it before on the show, but just wanted to reemphasize. Okay. So I'm going to give you the business update, and I'm talking to you, so I'm using the word I, but please keep in mind that I don't do anything alone. Everything I, quote unquote, I do involves the contribution, the expertise, and the overall panache of my Safi Media colleagues. And so in some ways, in some of these things that I'm about to share, my colleagues participate in it in small ways. And in some of these tasks, they participate in massive ways. So I didn't want you to think that I'm doing all of these things solo, but I also really detest when people use like the Queen Victoria approach, i.e. we are not amused. I find that it's an affectation that I personally don't take on. So for instance, when you hear somebody like a female founder whose life story was featured, or a male founder whose life story was featured in a magazine, and it's clearly all about her or him or them, and they're like, we were featured. I'm like, dude, there's no we there. That was a feature about you. Own that. Anyway, that's a personal irritation. That annoys me. It might not annoy you. You might be the person who refers to yourself as we. We can totally argue about that and have a lot of fun with it. But just so you know where I stand, I'm firmly on the side of I, unless it is legit a we. And so, yeah. Anyway, so that was a really complicated way to say, let's get into my list. So let's do this. Okay. So first up, this podcast. So in the first half of 2021, I created, recorded, and published 26 original podcast episodes. It's so funny when people ask me, hey, is it worth it to have a podcast? And please, you're speaking to somebody who's 465 episodes into a podcast and detests inefficiency and wasting my time. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, no, a podcast is a totally dumb idea. That's why I've done 465 of them. No, podcasts are a brilliant idea. Not for all of you, but certainly for me and for us, having a podcast is well worth it. A lot of fun, very worthwhile. So yeah, that's why I've created, recorded, and published 26 of them. I have also written and published 78 original emails to my list. They're called the missives. If you have not subscribed, I suggest you do. Go to eleanorbeaton.com/join. I really take you behind the scenes, go into much more detail on the things that I talk about here on the show. It's a great email series. You'll be the first to know about things that I actually don't talk about on the podcast. Free trainings, roundtable opportunities, just things that I don't talk about here on the show. New product launches, new initiatives that we're working on, new research. So you can get those emails at eleanorbeaton.com/join. And again, 78 y'all in the first half of 2021. Each one of those takes anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes to write. It's a lot of time invested into that, but it's well worth it. I launched a new marketing and content distribution strategy. Pretty fun. Designed and launched 2 original webinars, Ridiculously Bold, Astoundingly Brazen, and Niche Down, Cash Up. And P.S., we're going to be launching a new webinar later this month, which is all about how to scale to 7 figures with asset thinking. So you can go to eleanorbeaton.com/assets to get registered for that free training. And our free trainings are so valuable, by the way. They're so much fun, super valuable. So go register for that. As you can tell, creating excellent free content is an important strategy for us. I want to be that, for our clientele and the difference that we want to make in the world, I think it's really important for us to kind of be able to share with you how we teach, how we approach growing businesses. And it gives you a taste of what it's like to actually work with us. So go to eleanorbeaton.com/assets because we have in between when I created this half year in review and today, we've also created another free webinar, so you can go check that out. All right. I delivered the 2 webinars that I mentioned earlier, Ridiculously Bold, Astoundingly Brazen, and Niche Down Cash Up, a total of 18 times in the first half of 2021. What? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I interviewed and hired a fantastic new client concierge and admin assistant. She's amazing. I interviewed and hired 7 subcontractors to work on specific high-value projects. They are helping us to amplify our efforts. And so, there is a certain amount of my time each and every week that is really, focused on leading, the team of amazing experts that we have working together to accomplish our mission of doubling the number of women entrepreneurs who scale past 7 figures per year. So I designed and delivered 3 2-day virtual retreats for clients in the incubator on the following topics: Bossed Up Boundaries. That was an amazing one. We did that in January. Warrior Queen Branding. Seriously, if you want to really build an incredible brand, that was a fantastic training. We'll be doing that again for our incubator clients in 2022. And Profitable Partnerships. I created and sold a sold-out workshop on scaling service businesses called Beyond One-to-One. Super fun. 1-day workshop. I wrote and released our second textbook. So we have a textbook for Power Presence Position. We have another one for the incubator. It's called, get ready, this textbook for the incubator is called The Infinite Cash Machine, The Thinking Woman's Guide to Create, Launch, and Selling Your 6-Figure Scalable Offer. So released that beautiful textbook, which I love so much. I codified and released our Jewel business model. This is a new growth paradigm for women entrepreneurs, and this was huge in terms of us being able to articulate the work that we do, why we do it, and of course, really important in terms of positioning the work that we do in a category of one. I solidified our applied coaching practice. This includes clearly written coaching philosophies, approach, and guiding principles for our coach team. And this is part of what we call our full court press approach. And it's a huge piece, both in terms of internal structures, but also in the development of a new asset that we are releasing in 2022. I hired a brand new full-time executive coach. Very exciting. I'll be introducing her to our community in a little bit. We navigated our very first maternity leave. So one of our staff members went on maternity leave. Oh my gosh, because she had a beautiful little baby boy. And so that was fun, just really thinking through how do we want to approach maternity leave? And honestly, it has been very much mom first, and by that I mean, I have been a mom and have run a business and worked while raising kids. And for me, it was just really important that I always had a clearly defined role for myself and that I felt supported. And so that's been sort of really important for us when you have really great people and you can be honest with them about what the business requires. And you can be super supportive to them about what it means, what they want, what's important to them for a maternity leave. That's kind of how we've approached it. That might be a blog post, honestly, in the future, but I don't really know. I think it would be more like a here's what we did versus giving advice, because quite honestly, we've only had one person go on mat leave. So I'd have to have a few more before I started quote unquote giving advice. But from my experience, I think just kind of sharing what our experience with this could be something that's kind of useful, I think. I personally hired 2 new coaches for me, one that really focuses on strategy and another one that focuses on energy alignment. So that's been really useful. I hosted 52 live group coaching calls for the Power Presence Position Business Accelerator and the Incubator. I show up and put that insight out weekly for my clients, brainstorming, it's thought partnership, it's working on strategy and content. It's super fun. 52 live group coaching calls, y'all. That's a lot. I held 15 mastermind calls with my colleague, Chris. That was super fun. Commissioned some amazing new swag. So there you have it. I believe that's 18 key accomplishments from the first half of 2021. I just honestly like to know what people are up to, the kinds of things that they work on. So I hope this was useful for you. I'd love to know what you're working on. You should send me an email, eleanor@eleanorbeaton.com. Yes, that is my legit email address. I'd love to hear from you. What are you working on in your business? What were sort of the key accomplishments that you put out in the first part of 2021? And again, I think what's really important is to understand that we don't just talk about jewel businesses, we run one. And so everything that I've talked about here has happened while maintaining an average of at least 30% of open time during my working hours. So this has been really important too. Like, that's how you don't burn out. You're clear, you're focused on producing results. You know what your 10K tasks are, and you maintain that desired state. And again, for me, my desired state is relaxed confidence. So having adequate rest, being really focused, and enjoying what I do, like enjoying producing all of these results, has been key. So I hope that's useful for you. Send me a note. Let me know what you're working on. And I will see you back here, same bat time, same bat place, for another episode of Power, Presence, Position. Take care. Bye-bye. If you love this show, then you will love even more my missives, i.e., my emails. If you're not on my email list yet, I strongly encourage you to sign up at eleanorbeaton.com/join. Now, when you go and sign up for my email list, you will quickly discover why some of the most popular, well-known, and influential voices in the world of women's entrepreneurship quietly, studiously, consistently open every single email I send out, because they want to be inspired, they want to be entertained, and also I think they really want to connect with a woman like myself who's in full command of her voice and is willing to open up and share her thinking, her ideas, and her story. I promise you that on this email list, you are going to be entertained. You are going to hear really valuable tips about stepping into your power as a leader. And you're also going to get fun insight that I do not share anywhere else. Go to eleanorbeaton.com/join. And I promise you it will be the highlight of your inbox.